Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and I wasn't planning on doing this video for you guys. I wasn't. I was planning on actually reviewing the History Channel miniseries Houdini first, but that's not actually what I'm going to be reviewing for you guys. I'm going to be reviewing something that I didn't think I was going to. I didn't think I was going to. I didn't think this was going to be good, but I actually heard some pretty decent things about it. And the thing I'm going to be reviewing to you guys is the unauthorized Saved by the Bell story. Let's talk about this movie for a second. I heard this movie was coming out, and I am not a huge fan of Saved by the Bell. To me, Saved by the Bell is very much like Boy Meets World, only Boy Meets World is better than Saved by the Bell, in my opinion. The thing with Saved by the Bell, though, is that my mom is a huge fan of it. Huge fan. Like, really big fan. It's one of her favorite shows. I don't know if it's one of her favorite shows, but she loves the show, definitely. So, of course, when Saved by the Bell, when I heard this movie was coming out, I mean, my mom was obviously very excited. However, she started to boycott it because it is actually not true what they're saying in the movie. It's actually not true. It's actually based off a book by I can't remember his name. Dustin Diamond, you know, the one that played Screech in the movie. And basically, he, made this book, and the book was heavily panned by everyone. It's literally just him, really just down in the dumps for the whole movie, and how the problems he's had, really, that's what the book's about, really, that's what the book is about. And, the movie was a little bit better than that. I wasn't expecting this movie to be good. You know, they released a clip for it, and from what I had seen, it just did not look good, in my opinion. But it turns out that the Unauthorized Saved by the Bell story is actually pretty good. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty good. Don't get me wrong, it had tons and tons of problems. Lots of problems. But it was actually pretty good. I liked the story. The story wasn't that grasping, in my opinion. There was stuff in it that seemed a little too Disney Channel-ish, in my opinion. Really, it did. Some stuff seemed a lot like a little too Disney Channel-ish, but there was a lot of stuff that I really enjoyed. There were some things I wish they could have done a little bit differently in the movie. There were some things that I wish they hadn't done. But for the most part, I really enjoyed the Unauthorized Saved by the Bell story. I thought it was a very good movie. So let's just get to the movie. Basically, this movie's about, basically, it takes place, at sometime after Saved by the Bell has gone on, and we see, Dustin Diamond is narrating the movie, and it's basically the story of the Saved by the Bell story. You know, it's 6 unknown young actors. They're placed in the Hollywood spotlight, and they're kind of, we basically see their life from Good Morning Miss Bliss to after the show ends, and we kind of see how the network controlled them. They didn't want them to grow up. They didn't want them to act like actual teenagers. They kind of shielded them from things. They didn't even let them swear on set and things like that. They wanted to make this a very big show, definitely, and it really shows that. And it's kind of about them fighting the network and everything, kind of trying to fight the network, and basically, eventually, they realize that they're trapped, and that's basically how the movie ends. And that's basically what the movie's about, you know. It's not really the easiest movie to explain. It's basically a biopic. That's pretty much what it is. So, let's just get to this movie. That's pretty much the whole plot of the movie. I know that was a horrible, horrible plot description, but it's a biopic. What do you want from me? Let's get to the acting in the movie. The acting I was not expecting to be good at all. I was expecting this to be regular biopic Lifetime acting. Lifetime can have some really good stuff like Flowers in the Attic, and then they can have stuff like, say, other biopics that were not good at all. A lot of Lifetime movies really suck. I saw this one Lifetime movie in school. I don't remember what it was called. It was about, like, STDs. Oh my god, it was terrible. It was really just terrible. And something like this I was not expecting to be good. The acting was actually pretty decent. Let's talk about our main star here. The main star here is Sam Kindseth as Dustin Diamond. He did a pretty good portrayal, in my opinion. I liked his acting, definitely. I liked his character. My only issue with his character is, in the book, he seems very bitter, very, just very bitter, very much like he hated everyone the Saved by the Bell set. And this seemed a lot more positive, in my opinion. It was more like, it was a lot more positive. It seemed like he had a lot more positive experience. And the thing I didn't like about, him was that he kind of, when something bad happened, he acted like it wasn't a big deal. There's this one scene where Dustin starts to get involved into drugs, basically. and basically he acts like it wasn't even that big of a deal. He ends up like beating the shit out of this one guy, and he kind of just acts like it wasn't a big deal and everything. I thought his character was definitely very interesting, you know. He was very much overlooked as the silly character of the show. I mean, when people think of annoying characters, everyone thinks of Screech on Saved by the Bell. That's one of the characters that comes to mind, and, you know, Dustin was obviously not happy about this. He wanted to be looked at as a more serious actor. He wanted to be looked at as, you know, he was jealous of, like, Mark Paul and Mario Lopez. He was jealous of them. There's actually this one scene where we see him have this fantasy of him having, like, very, you know, very buffed up and very athletic and just not who he really was. He didn't like being the nerdy one of the group. He wasn't happy about that at all. And, you know, basically... And the thing that the movie did brush over a few things about him, though, I mean, Dustin Diamond did a lot more than the movie showed. The movie just showed that he did drugs. That's really all it showed. Screech, though, had a lot, you know, Dustin Diamond had a lot more problems than that. Dustin Diamond, I mean... Dustin Diamond did some really bad stuff. You know, first of all, he was 3 years younger than his co-stars, and the age difference contributed to him feeling very alienated on the show, and I thought that was definitely very interesting the way that worked. That was definitely very interesting in my opinion. Now, the other thing about his character, he fell apart, really. He completely fell apart, and the movie did not show this. The movie only shows what happens on Saved by the Bell. They don't show what happens after. He actually filed for bankruptcy. He got into a very bad depression and led him to release a sex tape, be on Celebrity Fit Club, attempting to sell t-shirts featuring his own face, and finally he wrote Behind the Bell, basically a tell-all book, you know, detailing what occurred behind the scenes, and that's really what this movie is based on. The movie doesn't really show that. The movie doesn't show that, and the thing is, he's our narrator, but my problem with him is that the movie didn't focus entirely on him. It focused on the other cast as well, which was fine, but the movie doesn't know what it wants to be, because a lot of times it'll focus on someone like, say, Mark Paul, or Tiffany Thiessen, you know, it won't focus on completely Dustin Diamond, and I had an issue with that, definitely. I thought I definitely had an issue with that, and that was an issue for me. Let's get to the other actors, though. Dylan Evert as Mark Paul was perfect, in my opinion. He was very well casted. He didn't look too much like Mark Paul, but he was very well casted. He had the same charm as, you know, Zach did in the show. He had the same, you know, very charming in the role, very fun to watch. I really enjoyed his, you know, his acting in the movie. He was definitely very good, and he was just very fun to watch, in my opinion. Very good. Alyssa Lynch as Tiffany Thiessen, she was really hot, honestly. She did what she had to do. I thought she was just going to be there to be hot, honestly, because she was hot, but not only was she hot, she was a good actress. I liked her I liked her as an actress. I liked that she, you know, this was true, you know, that she actually, and one of the things also I found interesting about Mark Paul, I did not know that him and Lark Voorhees were in a 3-year relationship. I had no idea about that. I thought that was very interesting, in my opinion. I would have never guessed that, really. I would have never really guessed that, and I thought that was just very, very interesting, in my opinion. Definitely, I really enjoyed that. I did not know that at all. Very interesting stuff there. So yeah, also Taylor Russell, Lark Voorhees, she was very good. Everyone else was very good in the movie. Some of them didn't have enough time, though. I felt like Tiara Scoville as Elizabeth, she didn't have as Elizabeth Berkley, she did not have enough time, in my opinion. I just thought that I would have wanted to see a little more of her. The worst, in my opinion, was Julian Works as Mario Lopez. No, I didn't like him. I didn't think he was very good at all, in my opinion. I didn't like him very much. I just didn't like his character. I mean, he really just seemed like a jackass to me. He really just seemed like an ass. I mean, Mario Lopez, he is a very good, you know, actor and everything, but this guy just seemed to, I don't know, I liked him, but he seemed like the worst to me. He really did. The producers were good in my opinion. I thought Andrew Moxham was very good as Peter. The thing I liked is that he had the shield over all the kids. He didn't let them be teenagers, basically. He didn't allow them to grow up. He didn't want them to grow up, and they were upset about that. And I thought it was also very interesting that Elizabeth Berkley was the reason why Saved by the Bell got more serious as it went on. Because we all remember that famous pill-popping episode where, you know, Jesse's popping caffeine pills, and, you know, whatnot there. I thought that was definitely very interesting. Kendall Cross as Sharon Harris was also very good. There's some very good scenes in a boardroom where they're trying to come up with ideas for Saved by the Bell. Those scenes were very well done in my opinion. I thought they were very good, and some of my favorite scenes in the movie definitely. Now, let's talk about the other problems this movie has. The directing is an issue. Definitely the directing is an issue. Because the movie completely glosses over Good Morning Miss Bliss. It literally is 5 minutes of that, and most of it just focuses on the core 6. It doesn't show Leah Remini when she came in Season 5. It doesn't show the college years. It doesn't even talk about the new class. It doesn't talk about that stuff. And it talks about the college years, but it didn't talk about the new class. It talked about the college years for like 1 second. And that's an issue for me because the show did continue on there. So it's not like it just like, I mean, that was really just, that was something that definitely annoyed me, was that this movie should have been a lot longer than it was. I feel like this movie should have definitely been about 2 hours longer, like, and about, I'd say a half an hour longer. Because this movie really glossed over a bunch of stuff, and I was not happy with that. And I really wish they would have shown a lot more than they did. That was an issue for me, definitely. The editing is definitely a huge problem. It's way too short, in my opinion. This movie is way too short, and it didn't get me, I didn't have enough time to be invested into the characters. I really wasn't. I was invested in Dustin and Mark and Tiffany. Also, I thought it was interesting that Mark and Tiffany didn't date in real life. I thought they did, but they didn't. Mark and Lark Voorhees dated, but Mark and Tiffany, everyone assumed they were dating. I thought that was interesting, definitely. There's this, yeah, so that was definitely very interesting. So now let's talk about something that I know a lot of people were talking about. The entire Saved by the Bell cast boycotted this movie. They said, no, we're not going to allow this to happen. They're not friends with Dustin Diamond anymore. And it's understandable why, because basically after the book was written, they trashed Dustin Diamond. They wanted nothing to do with him. They felt like idiots because he talked about how much he hated he hated Mario Lopez, or how much he hated Tiffany Thiessen. Those are the two he hated the most. That's not even shown in this movie. His hatred of Mario Lopez is shown, but his hatred of Tiffany Thiessen is not even shown in the movie, and that was an issue for me, because you're having a movie based on a book, but the movie is not even like the book was. The movie should have been a lot darker, and the movie felt very much like Disney Channel, even though it showed things like drugs and drinking and things like that. It seemed to gloss over some of the darker things that went on. For example, Mario Lopez in 1993, they didn't even show this, was accused of date rape. He liked to bring a lot of girls onto the set. He brought a lot of girls onto the set, probably to have sex with them. And he brought them onto the set, basically, and he gave them tours. And in 1993, he was accused of date rape for date raping an 18-year-old old woman. 18-year-old woman. There was no evidence, though, so NBC, allegedly paid off his accuser, so, it didn't actually happen, but they didn't show that in the movie. I didn't like that. I wish they would have shown a little bit more of that in the movie, and they didn't really show that at all. They also didn't show that Mark Paul Gosselaar took steroids. Oh, the other thing about Mark Paul Gosselaar I liked was the way his parents kind of shielded him as well. They didn't let him be an adult. There's a scene where he's 16 and he wants a car, where he's, he's like, I believe 18, and he's saying how he wants a car, and his mother's not letting him, spend money and everything, and I thought that was a very interesting scene, definitely. Now, the other thing the movie didn't show was in when the college years was going on. This is why I wish they would have shown the college years. Mark Paul Gosselaar took steroids. He did. He took steroids, apparently. He took steroids to, buff up for the college years. And that definitely is very interesting. I thought that was definitely very interesting, and I didn't know that at all. I didn't know that at all, definitely. Definitely I did not know that. The other thing I did not know is that Elizabeth Berkley, they did show in the movie. Elizabeth Berkley and Tiffany Amber originally both wanted to be Kelly, and they created Jesse just because they really liked Elizabeth Berkley. And I thought that was really cool, actually. I thought that was definitely very cool. So yeah, that was pretty much everything I really want to say about the movie. So the movie is definitely not perfect. There's a lot of problems, definitely, a lot of issues. And I know most of this movie is me just saying facts, but the problem is this movie doesn't show all the facts. It glosses over things, and that was a big problem in my opinion. There were some things I didn't even care about. I didn't care so much about the whole relationship drama between Mark, Lark, and Tiffany. I didn't care so much about that. I didn't really care. I didn't care so much about that because even though it happened, I just was not that invested. I really wasn't. I was not that invested in that story. I thought it was stupid. If you were telling a tale of Dustin Diamond, I want to see this in Dustin's point of view. It is pretty much in his point of view, but there are many scenes where he's not even present. So that didn't make sense to me at all. If it's about, Dustin Diamond, make it about Dustin Diamond, and it didn't seem to be about that. And the other thing I didn't like about the movie was really that, again, the book is supposed to show how bitter he is and everything. The movie really did not make him seem bitter at all. He, again, glossed over things that were a big deal, definitely. Especially the fact that he had this friend that really just used him because he wanted to be on the show. That's really the only reason he was friends with him, because he wanted to be on the show, and he wanted to be an extra on the show. So that's the only reason why he was friends with that guy, was because he wanted to be on the show. So I thought that was also very interesting. I did not know that, and I thought that was also, something very interesting that I did not know. So yeah, overall, this movie has a lot of problems, in my opinion. It is definitely not perfect. Also, the rating of this movie is TV-PG. That was not what it should have been rated. This movie should have been rated TV-14. We could have talked about the date rape stuff. We could have talked about how, Screech released the, how, Dustin released that sex tape, but because it was TV-PG, we couldn't go into truly dark territory, and I would have wanted for the movie to do that. There have been several biopics that I've seen that goes into, goes a lot farther than this movie did. For example, Growing Up Brady. A very good, movie, in my opinion, about the Brady Bunch. A very good biopic. I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was definitely very well done. There are many biopics I've seen. There's one coming on this Saturday on Lifetime about Brittany Murphy. The Brittany Murphy story looks a lot darker than this was. I would have wanted this to be a little bit darker. It just seemed too fun to me. I understand they were trying to have the fun energy of the show there, but really, if you really want to show what's going on with Dustin Diamond, you should have gone into that truly dark territory, because the book is not a pleasant book at all. I've heard his grammar's atrocious, what he's saying about the characters, he's saying all this shit about the characters, and it's, it really just, they seem to gloss that over in the movie, and I was not really happy with that. I would have wanted a little bit more of that in the movie. I would have wanted to see more of him being depressed. I would have wanted to see him go into this depression, and we didn't really see that. It seemed like after the, after graduation, everything was just fine for him, and that really was not true. I mean, the whole thing with him taking drugs, that video that his friend did, never went away, really. It never went away, and because of that, I mean, I thought that was just very interesting, in my opinion. By the way, the guy that played Eric, very good. He was also very good in the movie. But that's really all I have to say about the unauthorized Saved by the Bell story. Again, I personally have not seen Saved by the Bell. The other thing I have to talk about. The scenes where they were showing the actual show, I didn't like those scenes at all. I did not think they were doing very good acting or whatever. They did not portray them very well at all. When they portrayed the actors, they were good, in my opinion. When they portrayed the characters on the TV show, they were not good at all. I did not think that was good at all. I didn't think they did a very good job. I was not happy with that, especially because after that, I looked up the scenes, especially Jesse's caffeine pill scene. Not very well done at all. I saw the original scene, very, very well done. Elizabeth Berkley did an amazing job with that, but Tiara Shkovabai did not really do that good of a job impersonating that. She didn't really do that good of a job, definitely. I didn't think she was that good. But that's really all I have to say about the movie. One last thing, guys, before I turn this video off, I just want to tell you guys that I did this, there's this new channel that I'm doing. I am actually the co-creator of this channel. I'm doing this channel along with one of my very close YouTube friends. You guys know him, Kane LaPlante, aka Kid of Awesome. He was originally going to do these commentary tracks on his channel. He did not get a chance to do them on his channel because his channel has a very bad copyright strike, so he had to create his own channel called The Commentaries of Awesome. Definitely check out the channel. I will leave a link down below if you guys want to check out The Commentaries of Awesome. Definitely check it out. I am the co-creator of it. I, wrote the description and things like that. We did two commentaries. One of them is for Elmo and Grouchland, which is basically just nostalgia for both of us. Manny Patinkin, though, he can really sing in that movie. And also Cyberbully, so definitely check those two out. They will be up probably this Wednesday, so definitely check those out. You guys are definitely going to want to check those out. I definitely know a lot of you are probably going to really enjoy them. They're very funny. Also, keep in mind, guys, if, you know, they were done like 2 o'clock in the morning. If I sound extremely tired, that's why. Because we always do them really late at night. And most times we're going to have one commentary a week, but this time we had two. So definitely look forward to that. I mean, it's going to be a very fun. I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy that channel. It's only going to be open, though, till January. Because January, Caden will have his copyright strike gone, and we'll be able to do that again. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Just really want to talk about that. Oh yeah, so yeah, overall, the Unauthorized Saved by the Bell story is not a perfect biopic at all. It is not what I wanted. It was better than I thought it was gonna be, but it still had quite a few issues and a lot of problems. And also, as usual, guys, my link for my Letterboxd review, the Unauthorized Saved by the Bell story, will be down below. I might watch Houdini. Who knows? I might watch it. I don't really know. But that's my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys saw of the story. The movie story. Did it pay homage to the show? The other thing is unauthorized. We didn't really get a lot of that. Was the rating a problem for you? Would you want the movie to be a little bit darker than it was? How did the acting go? I know a lot of people said it did not look like the original cast. I kind of agree. I thought some of them did a very good job, except for, honestly, just Julian Works as Mario Lopez really did not cut it for me. I did not think he was that good at all. That's in my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in my next video. Again, subscribe to Commentaries of Awesome, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.